Hi, this is Heather, and this is my final project, my digital portfolio. So this digital portfolio is using resources that I've learned in class, along with other online resources that I've discovered on my own. Overall, I hope that this really demonstrates my increased understanding of using technology in the classroom and using technology with ELL students. It will consist of 4 parts. The first part is something that I've done with students in my class. The second part is a new technology and how I would use it with ELL students. The third part is an observation that I did of another teacher using technology in her classroom with ELL students. And the fourth part is just a totally new technology that I hadn't known about previously. So for the first part, I used Story Jumper. I have started to use Story Jumper to tell social stories to children in my class. Social story is a story about a specific behavior. Story is written in a positive manner, so the student learns the correct behavior. Sometimes they're modified using actual pictures of the student doing something the right way you want it to be done. It often could also be called video modeling in this way. So I created a social story video about hand washing. The example of the story that I used is below. Some challenges that I found in my classroom with using Story Jumper. What seems pretty basic is the need to have Wi-Fi access. I work in a satellite classroom that's based out of a church, and at various times we have had issues with our Wi-Fi and could never fully be dependent on technology because it could be gone in a second. Needing to have access to iPads. I have limited technology in my classroom, and that sometimes there just isn't an iPad to be had to be able to use to see the social story. Another challenge is that I teach preschoolers, and so teachers or assistants or adults need to be able to be available to have that student to the right place for that social story. And the last one, which is really stating the obvious, is that the iPads need to be charged. A couple of times I went to go grab the iPad and it was not charged. It was dead. So obviously things to be improved is that I need to make sure that we have a process for having the iPads charged and ready to go. I need to create more social stories. I need to make some more student-specific social stories for the child that's having a hard time walking down the hallways, to be able to make a social story specific about him, including videos of him walking correctly in the hallway instead of running. And then I need to further investigate to see if I can find a way to have this story downloaded onto the iPad so that if internet access isn't available, that I'm still able to play it without a problem. So using the Story Jumper relates to the WIDA early language development, standard 1, the language of social and emotional development, because they're watching a social story about things that they're supposed to be doing in their classroom, and helps them learn about social emotional development if it's talking about using their emotions or labeling their emotions. It ties right into that social and emotional development. Early language development and literacy, because it really allows all the students to be able to communicate information and ideas that are coming up. They're able to watch it together. They're able to talk about it and comment on it with a peer. They're watching in pairs. And it talks about social studies, because in early childhood, social studies is people and how they live and what we do, which falls right into that. Going forward, I'd like to also have students be able to help narrate the stories as well, besides just me doing the narrating. To be able to have some students who have more language development be able to do that. They get excited when I show them videos of things that they've done in class, when they hear themselves and see themselves. Imagine if they were able to share stories with their friends, how excited they would be about that. The second part, I investigated AutoDraw. AutoDraw is Google's latest effort combining artificial intelligence and art. And it allows everyone to draw. It's a mini game that tells you which objects to draw, like an eye or a helicopter, and then the artificial intelligence has 20 seconds to try to recognize it. That's one way to use it. The other way to use it is just to free draw, and I've come up with a way to use that free draw with students. So this tool could be very interesting and interactive for an ELL student. I would imagine that the teacher could have a list of vocabulary words and partner up the students so they can take turns using either an iPad or a Chromebook or a tablet, and they could draw the word and then show it to their partner, and their partner would have to guess. A way to modify that for an English language learner is that both partners have the same list, so that they're not just pulling a word out of air, but it's really a more focused word. As you can see from my sample drawings, the neat thing is that if you draw something like my picture on the left, you can tell I'm not a very good drawer, but it doesn't matter because the artificial intelligence built into the app of AutoDraw gives you can see at the top there's a bar of different options. So I drew that. It was really supposed to be a teddy bear. I was able to click what it was supposed to be. And so I could be able to do that with students. Makes everybody an excellent drawer and an excellent artist. So you're removing that piece, and it's interactive, and it's small, and it's highly supported. I would imagine this would be something very exciting for students to do. The third part that I did for my observation, I ventured out of the early childhood hallway and was in a 4th, 5th grade class of ED students with ELL students integrated into it, and the teacher was doing a lesson on Brain Pop. So just according to Wikipedia, Brain Pop is a group of educational websites with over 1,000 short animated movies for students in grades K through 12, with quizzes and related materials covering subjects of science, social studies, English, math, engineering and technology, health, and arts and music. The lesson that I happened to observe was a health lesson. The teacher was doing a health lesson on personal hygiene, and it was a whole class lesson. It was up on the smartboard. I think for the 2 ELL students that were in that class, that it was difficult for them because there were lots of choices. I took a screenshot that you can see to the right of what one of the quiz questions looked like that they were doing in Brain Pop, and I think it looked a little overwhelming for the students, especially when it's a whole group discussion activity. So one of the modifications for the ELL students I thought about was, or differently able learning students, is to be able to provide less choices, have it printed out for them to be able to do at their desk, and so that they've got something closer to be able to see as well. Also, there's a way to add some real objects or pictures into the lots of words on that page, may be better as well. So I Googled top apps for ELL learners and came up with Duolingo. And I was surprised I'd never heard of Duolingo before. According to Wikipedia, Duolingo is a freemium language learning platform that includes a language learning website and app, as well as a digital language proficiency assessment exam. As of October 2018, this website offers 81 different language courses across 37 languages. Duolingo is great to have for students who are English language learners to be able to do an activity at their desk if they finish work early. The pros of Duolingo is it's free. It integrates conversation, vocabulary, speaking, and listening skills. At the end of each section, the user is tested on their skills, and then the results show what parts the user is really doing well in and where they could use some more practice. The cons for this is it's free. Remember, you get what you pay for. Looking at it, it doesn't look like there have been a lot of updates. And also some other criticisms that I found is that the fluency meter is not very accurate, and it's very easy to outgrow this app. I found it interesting, too, that the big advertising for Duolingo is that you can learn a new language in 5 minutes a day. And I think we all know that that's really not probably pretty accurate advertising. So this is my online portfolio, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye.